Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I am your host, Charles Lung. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jake Gloff. How are you doing today, Jake?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good.
Yeah, I've got a great pilot for a brilliant TV show for you today.
Ooh, does it star Lady Gaga in one season? Where she's
It actually does. Yeah, yep. It's American Horror Story. That's the show.
Oh, goody. It's
Yep.
an anthology horror show with lots of boobies.
I've never seen American Horror Story. So
There's quite a few boobies in it at certain points. There's a whole episode called Spilt Milk. How do you say it? How do you say spilt? Spilt?
Anyway,
spilt?
my pitch does have in the title.
I didn't finish talking about spilt milk.
I was trying to interrupt you.
It starts.
I have
with
horror in
a
the
man
title of my show.
sucking on a titty. That's how it starts. He hires a prostitute, and she comes in, and she's like, "I didn't feed my baby this morning, just for you, honey," or whatever. I'm like, I wouldn't like that.
Anyway, my pitch.
Seems gross.
Oh my god, I hate you. My pitch does have horror in the word in the title. So it's called The Horrors of the Trench. It's a show based in World War One, in the trenches. It's a sitcom in the trenches. Actually.
I like this.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I thought it was gonna be a spin-off of Aquaman. You remember Aquaman? They're like, it's the trench where all the monsters live. I'm Jason Momoa. I'm real sad because I'm poor.
I don't think he was poor, was he?
I mean, didn't you see that interview? He was like, yeah, after
I
was in
thought you
Khal
meant
Drogo.
like his character.
No, I was talking about Jason Momoa. After he did Khal Drogo, like, nobody hired him. I'm like, why? He looks great. He should have been Lobo. Why the fuck was he Aquaman?
I don't know. I don't think he's that great of an actor. Anyway, The Horrors of the Trench is about the daily life of Allied trench soldiers. It's a sitcom featuring a sort of rolling cast because people die.
Yeah.
Because it's the trenches.
Yeah.
So, our pilot is going to feature a new soldier coming to the trench named Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie is going to be
Can he be
brought
a pilot?
around the trench. Can he be a pilot?
Like a pilot of a plane.
Well, no,
So
he's in
that,
the trench.
Well, yeah, I know, but he was like, he lost his ability to fly. He's got a degenerative eye disorder. Just because I want the pilot of the show to be titled The New Pilot. And
Oh, okay.
and then it's a pilot about a pilot. And
See,
then,
I don't see a reason why he would be in the trench, though, because if he's a pilot. But maybe we just won't explain that.
Yeah, maybe he's got mysterious past.
Okay, maybe he was a pilot, but he was really bad at flying planes, so they sent him to the trenches.
He kept crashing into the trenches, like the Allied trenches, and they were like, you know what, you belong here.
That could actually be a good thing. So he wants to be a pilot, but he has to do like a certain amount of time in the trenches before he can.
Yeah.
And so his name's Eddie, but they'll nickname him like Pilot or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he's from New Zealand. So this is the British trenches.
Oh, we got a Kiwi.
So everyone is from a different part of the British Empire. So Eddie, he's being brought around the trench, meeting everyone. So he meets first he meets Graham, who's the captain or the squad leader. He's like a super. He's English and he's very like
Proper English.
no emotions, proper English, like very much like a higher class poor person.
Yeah.
Constantly speaking like in a very authoritative tone, and he speaks of hardships in the trench and how brutal it is, but he has like a really nice cushy room and like.
Oh yeah, he's got the best thing.
Yeah, his thing is like really sweet.
He's got the room that has the fire in it, so he's always like warm and toasty. He's got tea and crumpets.
Yeah. And he's like kind of oblivious to like how awful the trenches actually are.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are, in fact. They're just sort of satirical about it.
Yeah. Can he be the one who's writing poetry? Like
no, I've got someone who writes poetry.
Oh yes.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. So then Eddie's going to meet, Graham's going to bring him around to meet everyone. And he's going to meet John and Michael. John is Scottish and Michael is Welsh.
Mm-hmm.
They're both just sort of like playing cards. They're sort of like a pair. They're very, very close friends. John is very serious, and he's a philosophical pessimist and a revolutionary.
Close friends. Wink, wink. We know.
No, they're not.
We know what men had to do for each other in the trenches.
Maybe they could be gay.
Yeah.
So John is like very serious and philosophical. He's a pessimist and sort of like a passive revolutionary. So he just likes to talk about revolution, but he's not actually ever going to do anything.
Yeah, like a friend of ours.
Yeah, and so he's very like he's constantly quoting like different philosophers and talking about like the hardships of man, and is like really down or like really seditious against the government.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, during a later episode, when they have the Christmas truce, he's gonna go out and he's gonna like convince the Germans on the other side to like start a revolution in Russia. And like they're gonna go and they're gonna get like Vladimir Lenin, like they're gonna hear about it like as the show goes on in the newspapers. And John's gonna be like comment and be like, hey, like I think I remember, like I know these guys in this photo. These are the Germans that I was talking to during the truce.
Yeah.
During probably there's gonna be a scene where he's like teaching them. There's gonna be like a chalkboard up, and he's gonna be like explaining like the oppression of the government. And the Germans gonna be like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Michael is sort of like the prankster. He's doesn't really take anything seriously. So him and John sort of have like a opposites attract relationship.
Yeah. I'm imagining them like the guys from remember Rogue One? Remember that movie Rogue One?
Yeah, I do remember Rogue One.
Remember that shitty movie?
It was alright.
It was fine. The latter half is great. The first half is kind of but I'm imagining them like that one like blind guy who's best friends with the big heavy gunner guy. You know?
Oh yeah, kind of like that, yeah. Except
like one of them is thoughtful and one of them is active. But Michael's less of a sad prick and more of a funny prick.
Yeah. So Michael, he's sort of like he's like a jokester kind of person, and in fact, he's the tunneler of the group. You know, like the tunnelers in the trenches. They're supposed to go under the trenches and tunnel to the German trenches for like surprise attacks and such. During an episode, he's going to develop an elaborate tunnel system to prank different members of the British side rather than tunnel to the Germans. And these pranks are like, they're not really pranks. Like they're kind of like very awful. Like a prank's going to be like dropping a grenade into like where everyone eats as they're eating. Like it just plops down into the middle of the table and everyone has to run away. Or like causing loud sounds next to sleeping soldiers to trigger their shell shock and PTSD. Like really awful stuff.
Yeah.
Or I have written down he's going to like flood a room to cause trench foot. Yeah, so not good stuff.
Maybe he is constantly pranking the upper class Britishman who's
I'm
very
getting
proper.
to that, Charles. Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna prank Graham. So his prank on Graham is that he like digs. Well, actually, sorry, the prank's not really intentional. So his elaborate tunnel system exists, and one of the places it goes is to Graham's office. And the Germans are going to actually be doing their jobs, and they're going to break into Graham's or Michael's tunnel system. And they'll be like, "This is crazy. This is insane. Like this elaborate thing." And they're like, "Oh, we can just go straight to the high command officers' like quarters." Because there's like signs and shit. Like it's like really elaborate. There's signs. There's like chairs. There's like snacks along the way and lights up. Yeah. Like it's very cozy in there.
He's got a whole thing. He's got like a little Christmas tree.
It's like really nice. And they're gonna go into Graham's office as he's sort of like hanging out, probably having like a cup of tea or something. And as they break in, Graham is going to like turn to them. And he's going to lecture them for attacking poorly. He's going to be like, "You guys did this all wrong. You should have rushed in here and attacked me right away. You should have killed me already. I can't believe I'm still alive. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And as he's talking, he, like, pulls the pin on a grenade, leaves it on a table, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to leave you in here, and you guys think about what you've done in shame. And all the Germans, like, looking at the floor, all sad, and then he shuts the door. And it blows up, and he just sort of walks away, all calmly.
And then he tells, like a little kid, like not a kid, but like a lower ranking officer, it's like, go clean up in there.
Yeah.
You need to clean up in there.
Tell one of my other character stats. So then we have, so this is all still Eddie being shown around by Graham. So Eddie's going to then meet Eric. Eric is from India, and he's always trying to start a musical number. Like, he really wants to make this sitcom like a musical.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to start it, but someone else, like, something always stops it. Like, someone tells him to shut up, or like they get called to go over the top or something.
Yeah. Maybe he's got, like, various instruments just stashed about, but not, like, big instruments, just, like, he's got a flute over here and a harmonica and, like, what's that thing? Like, you blow in the top of it, it's got, like...
a pan whistle, something like that.
Pan flute, yeah.
And so, yeah, that could be good. So he's like, you can see him in the background, he's, like, slowly pulling out, like, a guitar or something, and then as, like, Graham's talking, and then Graham just, like, shoots the guitar, and he's like, no musical today.
Maybe he's, like, tuning it really finely, and then a grenade, or, like, an explosion goes off, and he twists it, and, like, the string snaps.
Yeah, it's like, damn it. And so then we're gonna meet our final trench partner. He's Canadian. His name's Terry. Terry is our dumb brute character. So he's kind of like he's deaf, he's dumb, he's not really, like, all there mentally, but he's really tough. Doesn't really talk a lot. But they're gonna find out that he's actually a brilliant poet. He's, like, really good, and he, like, brings everyone else to tears with his words. So that's his little special thing.
His little thing.
So Eddie's gonna be brought around to meet everyone on the pilot. You can get your nice introduction. Now Eddie, he wants to be a pilot, as we've discussed now, and he's gonna sort of hear the whistle to go over the top, and everyone's gonna be, like, busy doing something else. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna not do that. And he's like, what are you guys doing? Come on, we gotta go over the top. And he gives, like, a rousing speech. And everyone's, like, kind of motivated by that. And you're like, you know what? We should go up. We should go over the top. And he's like, yeah, let's go. And he stands up in the trench, gets shot in the head, and dies.
Like, the new pilot, and and then everyone else just, that's how it ends. He just gets shot, his head explodes, like, at the back. And then everybody else looks around. And the Scotsman and the Welshers, like, got any threes?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They just sit back down in their
go.
chairs and start playing cards again.
Yeah.
Yep. And so Eddie dies immediately. Bye to our
good.
Kiwi.
Can we get just every couple of episodes we get a new Kiwi?
Yes. No, it's not a new Kiwi, but maybe.
No.
I was doing different people.
I was just thinking it'd be funny if we just killed a New Zealander, like, every episode.
It could be like a background thing, where, like, like, we could have a different story, and then during one of the scenes, like, the new guy gets shot, and they're like, oh, we just lost another Kiwi. It's like every week, man. Come on.
Throw him on the fucking pile.
We're gonna
lost
have
ourselves another Kiwi.
We're gonna have an Australian named Hugh who's gonna join for a little bit. But his accent is so thick that, like, no one can understand him ever.
Yeah.
In fact, Terry is going to kill him because he thinks that he insulted his poetry, and Terry's really sensitive about his poetry. So
yeah, maybe the Australian's got, like, subtitles.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. He's got subtitles.
Yeah,
but, like, everyone else notices the subtitles too, and they're like, God, why are they backwards? It makes it so much harder to read because, like, they're on they're in the show, so they don't see them the way we do.
Like, that's weird.
Has this guy got subtitles? Is that how bad it is? Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. And he's just like, he asks Terry for like a light, like for a cigarette. And Terry's like, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
And like grabs him and throws him up over the trench into a minefield.
Oh god.
Maybe we kill a couple of Kiwis, and then we get an Australian, and they're like, oh, you're from New Zealand, that's cool. And they just keep mistaking him for a New Zealander.
Oh, and he hates it too, and maybe that's how he dies. He hates it so much he's like, you know what, fuck this, and he just like runs at the Germans. Maybe he joins the Germans.
Yeah, he becomes a German spy, and he crawls through the hole. I'm imagining that like, what are the Scotsman and the Welshman? What are their names again?
Michael and John.
Oh, Michael and John?
Yep.
Okay, Michael and John are like, they're just constantly in the tunnels, just like doing various things. Like they've got like a little stove top.
Yeah, it's like really
somewhere, and they'll like, the commander will be like, John, Michael, and just like their heads will pop out
of the tunnels.
Out of like the wall, and I'll be like, yes, sir. And, like just doing rounds.
Yep.
Okay,
yeah, working real hard in those tunnels, sir.
Yep. It goes back, and they've got weed somehow. I think it'd be funny if somehow they've been smuggling drugs in.
They have like everything. They have like all the commodities that you need. Like they have like carpets and nice couches in there. Next we're gonna have
wait.
What?
Maybe they've made John. Is John the tunneler? John's
the he's the Scottish. He's just a soldier. Michael's the tunneler.
Michael has like made friends with a German tunneler, so they
they just trade stuff.
They just like hang out together in the tunnels, and they'll like play cards with them, and they're like, "What's your name, soldier?" And he's like, "My name is Harry." They're like, "Good to meet you, Harry. Nice to see a fellow allied soldier." He's like, "Yes, okie dokie."
And the German just sort of like hangs out with them because like they got all this nice stuff, and he like just doesn't say
anything.
Like,
he just doesn't like. He's still on the German side, but he's like, I'm not going to kill these guys. They're very nice.
Yeah.
So lovely, and they have all this lovely stuff. They have the chocolates, the French chocolates. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, can we have a crossover
with him?
With our other World War I show?
Oh, Isaac Illich.
We're gonna get Isaac in here for one episode.
Maybe he's like has like a cameo. They have like a poker table in the tunnels with like the Germans and the other and like a bunch of Allied soldiers.
They're all just here.
And like
every
Ivan's there. Yeah, there's just like tons of people. There's a huge poker game. Everyone's smoking like big cigars. The room's filled with smoke and like. You can barely see. Maybe one of the other soldiers in the unit, like Eric, comes down or something. He's like so surprised by like this huge gambling ring they have under there. You can see Ivan Illich in the background, arguing with like Rasputin or something.
Yeah, and he like hits him in the. It's him and Hitler together.
Yeah.
and then like Michael turns to Eric and it's just like.
Yeah.
And turns back to the game.
No, but it's like a huge like organized thing. Like they have multiple tables going and dealers, and the room looks like really nice and everything.
They have like it's a gambling championship.
Yeah.
It's like people have come from all over parts of the trenches to come to this gambling championship. The winner gets this fancy gun, and he like holds the gun up, and it's like made of solid gold.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's a great gun, and he accidentally pulls the trigger and kills somebody. And then it starts like a giant brawl.
Yeah, in the thing, and then that's like the end of the episode is they have to close it. And they're like all upset about it.
And it like collapses on top of them.
And it was all like sort of part of Michael and John's plan. Like they're walking out with all the cash, and they're like, we're rich.
Yeah, and then they like Michael just pulls one like support beam out
as they're leaving.
He
Yeah,
grabs a
it
string
collapses
and he
and
pulls
kills
it,
everyone
and it
else.
just collapses, kills everyone. And it's like, well, that was easy. Yeah.
Well, I got more for you. So then we have Marty, who's gonna come in. He's he's an American. He's from Boston. Also has a very thick Boston accent. And at first, everyone's gonna make fun of his Boston accent, but they're gonna slowly develop it through the episode. And by the end, everyone's gonna have a Boston accent.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Can Marty be? Can we just leave a few hints that Marty's like time displaced?
What do you mean?
Just a few. Like he's gotten in some sort of time machine and gone back to World War One.
Oh.
Maybe he's writing a letter to Doc.
To Doc Brown.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Oh, because it's Marty from. Yeah, I got you now.
Yeah.
I was confused. Just like a few little things. Yeah, I'd like that.
Just like he's just got like, if you look closely, his shoes are Nikes.
Yeah.
But they're just like, what? Those are some interesting shoes, soldier. He's like, yeah. My mom makes shoes.
My mom makes shoes.
My mom makes shoes.
I just want
They're
them all.
fucking
I want a
great.
scene where they're like all running across the no man's land, and they're all just yelling, "I'm walking here!" Like as the bullets are flying past, and the Germans might even catch on to it too, and then both sides all of a sudden have Boston accents.
No, like the only way we can get rid of this, I can't do a Boston accent. So I'm just gonna do a regular American accent. The only way we can get rid of this is through alcoholic therapy, and they all just get so drunk that their accents revert.
Accents go back, yeah. I was thinking we do a German episode, so it's just like it's the German side of the trenches, and they're all like,
oh, it could be like a evil twins situation.
Yeah,
like you know how they'll just do it. It's like they're the exact same, but just slightly different. That'd be great. And it ends with them all exploding because George ordered a airstrike.
Graham is the
Graham.
If you didn't
notice,
notice,
why do I keep saying George?
So it's Graham, John, Michael, Eric, Terry. Where's this coming from, Charlie?
I don't know.
It's Monty Python.
Oh.
It's all the members of Monty Python.
Except
I didn't do two Terrys, because that would have been redundant.
Yeah. Gil. We call one Gil.
Gil.
Yeah.
We can make Eddie Gil when he dies.
Yeah. Yeah, Gil. Oh, good old Gil.
The Kiwi. Gil the Kiwi.
Well, I think that is a great idea for an episode, or for not for
Thank
just
you.
an episode, for a series of episodes about World War I in the trenches.
See?
I would watch it. It would probably have a cult following. We got it made. We might get like, I could see this show getting like 3 seasons maybe.
Maybe like 2.5.
Yeah, I'm imagining like 2 of those seasons are just fantastic.
And the last half is like, come on, like
the third like section of episodes is like we went for like, we're going, instead of practical, we went all digital. And it's real bad.
Yeah, we went too far. Like what made the show good was like, just the relationships in the trenches, but we went with like too big of a plot. We made the characters too serious in the 3rd season.
It's like the dark humor of the first 2 seasons went away.
Yeah, and it was all just
with like
bad jokes.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening.
Yeah. We probably got fired as writers.
Those first 2 seasons, or maybe you got fired and I stayed on.
Yeah.
And it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening.
All of a sudden it's a space show when it's just you.
Yeah, and and it's like, oh, the 3rd season. What's his name? I'm so bad with names, and I'm sorry. Michael has been building a spaceship underneath of the trenches. And the third season ends with them flying off into space.
Yep.
And to be continued. It's not continued.
Yeah. No.
Well, I think that's a good episode idea, a good series idea, a good idea.
Thank you. You've said it multiple times. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to thank Jake for his idea. I want to thank me for also being here.
For listening to it.
And I want to thank you, the beautiful listener. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere where podcasts
We're actually not
sold.
on Stitcher. We're on everything besides Stitcher.
What
There's
else
a reason
is there
we're not on Stitcher. I don't remember. They like ask you to do something that I don't want to do.
Okay,
it's
like pay or
I think you have to
some
pay or something, or maybe they like put advertisements or they like own it or something. I don't know. It's weird. There's something we're supposed to do.
We're not on Stitcher. They can suck a fat nut.
Okay.
We're on other places. Nah. What are they gonna do?
Probably nothing.
And I'd like to thank our sponsor for this week's episode.
Oh.
This week we're being sponsored by tissues. I've
Just
got a nice tissue right here.
Oh, that's cool.
It's got 3 layers of lovely snot protection. You see?
I haven't got any of this tissue money, Charlie.
2, 3. It's great. And I'd like to thank the listener for listening. You can find us on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can find Jake nowhere.
Oh, I found it, Charlie. Let me interrupt real quick. Stitcher requires that you promote their services in your podcast. That's why
we already did that, Stitcher. Get your shit together.
No, well, we have to say use Stitcher and stuff. I don't want to fucking do ads for someone that's not paying me.
Yeah, fuck you, Stitcher. Suck it. You're not getting any of the VRP money.
There's not any money.
There's no money.
It's probably negative money.
If
probably
we're
lose
being
money.
Honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a whole $12 on this pop filter right here.
Yeah, I bought this microphone.
Yeah, shit's crazy. Yep. Thank you. And if you were in World War I in the trenches, what would your thing be? Would you be a musical boy? Would you be a tunneling boy? Would you be a drunk?
Probably the last one.
Tell us in the comments. Yeah. Oh, for
probably
sure.
Be dead, actually.
Would you be a poet? I would be dead.
Yeah.
I would be dead so quick. I would be like...
You would buy a poetry book before you went, and you'd be like, I'm going to write poetry. And then you're going to be trying to think, what should I write? And you're going to stand up and get shot in the head as you're writing.
Mm-hmm. I would buy a notebook, like one of those really fancy, nice hardcover notebooks. It's like, this is going to be the book I write my journal ideas in.
It's going to get shot
and then, I'll get there. I'll be like, you know how they made people shave in the trenches in World War I?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have razors, they just had straight razors.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be, shaving, and then one of the, a bomb would go off next to it, and I'd accidentally slit my own throat and die. That's how I think of it.
And someone else would pick up your notebook and be the famous poet.
Yeah, and that person was Ernest Hemingway.
Yep.
Yep, he was definitely in the trenches.
Yep. Maybe it was Robert Graves.
I love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.